You can take exploration to new heights at the Liberty Aviation Museum in Port Clinton. The museum is new to the area, with its doors opening back in 2012. But some of the working planes on display have been landing here since the 1920s.
It was designed and built primarily to showcase the history of the Ford Trimotor that was utilized here for many years between the mainland and the Erie Islands. And we wanted to return a Ford Trimotor back to Port Clinton.
First Ford Trimotor 4AT flew in 1926. And they built 199 of them total. The last of them was built in 32. Henry Ford decided at that point in time to close down his aviation operation.
The federal government started to impose massive restrictions on the manufacture of aircraft. So Ford decided to get out of the aviation business at that point and never produced another airplane up until World War II.
Trimotor is famous in the Port Clinton, Ohio area. Milt Hirschberger, who started Island Airlines in 1929, in the late 30s bought his first Ford Trimotor. They were dirt cheap at that time. They had become obsolete, although they were tremendously rugged and could get in and out of very short areas, meaning the Bass Islands. And Trimotors operated here from that point in time until the mid-80s when the last one was sold.
Island Air Service that actually utilized up to 3 Ford Trimotors at one time. That was the longest time of any airline in the world that's operated with a scheduled airline. And also the shortest. It's the shortest distance for a scheduled airline ever.
3 Ford Trimotor planes haven't been here on site at the same time since 1968. But currently at the museum, 3 have landed again, with one under reconstruction, another on display, and the third used for flight tours. It's a full working museum that offers rides, and I got a need for speed. So I'm gonna head up in this 1929 Ford Trimotor plane.
Clear 1, clear 2.
There we go.
Now she looks official.
Besides learning about planes firsthand from flight, you can tour the museum's 2 hangars and discover the path that planes took, not only in air, but through time.
We're trying to showcase a feel for the golden age of aviation that occurred probably from right after World War I up until the beginning of World War II. Right now we currently have quite a number of aircraft in here. We've got both of our Ford Trimotors in here, Stearman trainer from World War II. This is a TBM Avenger, and behind that was the B-25 Mitchell that is pretty much our flagship aircraft of the museum. They're all in operational condition with the exception of the other Ford in the back, which is under restoration.
The museum has other working military vehicles with jeeps, motorcycles, and even a boat.
We have a World War II PT boat. It was actually launched in April of 1945, but the war ended and it was not put into active service. It'll operate just like the original PT boat in World War II did. By mid-July, we should have it in the water.
The museum also has a large collection of German and American World War II memorabilia.
There's uniforms and there's military vehicle parts, a lot of field gear. Not too many people get to see German vehicles and memorabilia. It's another aspect of our collection that is more unique than the average museum. Everybody gets to see the half-track and the Sherman tank and the Jeep, but not too many people get to see some of the different variations of military equipment that the German Army used. We also have other items within the facility that pertain to aviation in Ohio, which is the Cleveland National Air Races. We have quite a few items. We're just starting to build up that display. We even have some items from Hollywood and from TV.
Before departing the museum, one last stop can be made at the fully restored 1950s Tin Goose Diner.
This part of the diner is original. It operated for over 50 years in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. All of the items on our menu relate to something aviation related, whether it's here in Port Clinton or just history related in general.
It is a wonderful thing, and I'm very, very proud of being able to do it. And I think the best part of it is meeting the people and introducing them to the history that I love so much of aviation.
More than 4 weeks after little Elena Steinfurth was last seen, the crowd gathered to pray for her safe return is still at over 100.
I've never realized how much of an outpouring of help you can find from people you don't even know.
It's assistance that family members and those close to them say helps them each day that the toddler is away from home.
Just to keep the hope up and keep the prayers and just keep hoping that she's out there somewhere safe. Hopefully somebody's, taking good care of her. That's what we hope.
Hope that was dashed for at least a moment when those searching for baby Elena learned that it was in fact human hair taken out of the Maumee River by a local fisherman.
Yeah, we didn't hear from any police or anything telling us. We heard, third hand from somebody else, and then I got the text across my phone, and it's frustrating to find things out that way.
But without any concrete answers yet on where baby Elena might be,
Bring Elena home! Yeah!
her family is still praying for a miracle.
I don't like to think that she may be in the water, but when we see them diving, it kind of hits the spot that, she may be down there. If she is, let us find her and bring her back. Let us bury her the right way.
And while the stress of the situation is wearing on Elena's father and family, they move forward by thinking of the past.
The last week or so that I've seen her, she's finally learned how to give a high five, and that was her biggest kick. You say, give me five, and her hand went up and she just grinned from ear to ear.
Memories that many hope this family will be able to have more of whenever baby Elena returns home.
I spoke to Eric Trump here on the UT campus. He would only take questions regarding the military, the campaign pushing that the election is rigged, and how the Clinton campaign is not taking fault for their scandals.
Hey, Brian, that's right. This standoff started around 12 o'clock this afternoon, about a half an hour after the shooting at the strip mall, when Maumee police were contacted.
We're not exactly sure if one of the people that died today was a student or a faculty member. That information is still not clear. The school is not taking any answers, but we do know that one person has been transported to the hospital. Not sure about their injuries right now, and one person has died. We'll continue to keep you posted, but for now, we'll toss it back to you, Angie.
The hometown tribute, which really focuses on the Lions and that part of it. So yeah, having a blast.
Chef Nate here was so nice this morning to come in super early and make me some of their dishes that they're offering on their special Restaurant Week menu. Now, you guys are offering a lot of things. Nate, what do we have right here?
Okay, this is our chicken and waffle dish with confit chicken wings, waffle with tarragon ginger butter, and a maple oil sauce.
And this is the appetizer?
Yes, that's our app. This is one of our entrees here, southern fried steak sliders with smoked mayonnaise, pimento cheese, and a nice pickle.
My proposal was that the company should have gone into bankruptcy, and then we should give help to get them back out of bankruptcy and survive and grow and thrive. And ultimately, that's what the president did.
Yeah, Brian, if you were out on the ski slopes today, it was probably the perfect day. But if you're like the rest of us and you had to go anywhere beyond your front door, you know that it was a slushy and snowy affair.
Irving. Saw.
Oh my God.
All of a sudden, two words popped on this thing: paranormal, enemy.
Female.
Let's go back to where this all started. I was on a mission to find some of the spookiest locations in Northwest Ohio. Heading out first on my own, I went to the site surrounded by urban legend and folklore, Gibbs Bridge. Legend has it that this bridge is haunted by the victims of a fatal car crash. While it's always a struggle to capture paranormal activity on camera, regardless of if you're a professional or an amateur ghost hunter, the true challenge is to decide if what you've experienced was real or if your mind is playing tricks on you. My general uneasiness led me away from Gibbs Bridge for good. It was then that I knew I needed help. I sought advice from a local ghost hunter, touting the use of his own brand of discarnate psychology.
Just don't research ghost hunting. Research psychology, research ancient history, because it all comes together at some point.
He showed me how the professionals approach a conversation with ghostly beings.
What this does is it takes an energy in an area and associates a word to it.
In 1960, 2 days before Halloween, a twin-engine vintage World War II aircraft crashed after taking off in incredibly foggy conditions. The wreck killed 16 Californian football players. A second, lesser-known crash in 1992 killed all passengers aboard a DC-8 military flight.
Did you work for the military? Yeah?
Boris believes to have connected with a victim of this crash through a spiritual conversation.
Everyone in the room felt this electrical surge. In my 10 years of doing ghost hunting, I've never felt anything like this.
It was time for my own paranormal encounter. All I had to do was pick the place. Through research and advice, we decided to come to one of the most notoriously haunted locations in Northwest Ohio, Ravine Cemetery in Sylvania. I'm a little nervous. We were joined by the founders of the Toledo, Ohio Ghost Hunters Society, Butch Leon and Harold St. John. Their enthusiasm frightened me a bit.
We're in a cemetery that's allegedly haunted. Where else would I be on a Friday night?
The Toledo, Ohio Ghost Hunters Society bases their practice on scientific evidence and theories of quantum physics.
I think science can play a big role in this. What Einstein proved is the theory of energy cannot be created, cannot be destroyed, no beginning, no end to it. So that's what I think we're trying to do, is we're trying to capture, the energy or the essence of something.
Harold doesn't waver in his belief.
There's something out there that exists that we can't explain.
Once we were set up, we began by hunting down the headstone of one Irving Stowe.
Irving Stowe was the caretaker here.
Legend has it that Irving is one of the only people who knows the origin of the story of the Ravine Cemetery's ghost bride.
Called her a virtuous woman in her late teens.
In the 1800s, a woman was widowed 3 times over, each of her husbands meeting an untimely death. Surviving family members couldn't decide which of her 3 husbands to bury her with, so she was laid to rest in a plot all by herself. We tried to contact Irving Stowe to find out more about this romantic tragedy.
Said something again.
Story. Okay, give me the story.
Somewhat of a role in it. They finally moved out of the house. Female.
Maybe the biggest.
That might answer a question. She is a female.
One more thing before we let you go. For anything like
There it is.
saw.
Oh my God. Our session lasted less than 10 minutes, but it was all my weak heart could take. Even the guys were beginning to spook one another.
Did you just touch me?
Yeah. Did you get jumpy?
No, I just wondered.
They always, at the end, attempt to show their appreciation to the dead.
Thank you, Mr. Stowe. If you had communicated with Butch tonight, don't mean you any disrespect.
What do you think Irving has to say to us tonight?
I'm not quite sure. It's up in the air.
As for the ghost bride,
Maybe someday, hopefully, she'll find all 3 of them.
The mystery continues.
Yes.